Hello everyone, this is Jasu, and welcome to Let's Play Sparkster for the Sega Genesis. This is the sequel to Rocket Knight Adventures, one of two sequels, in fact, by the same name for two different platforms. There was a Sparkster on the Super Nintendo as well. A completely different game though. This was a common thing back in the day where you'd get two games with the same name on the Genesis and the Super Nintendo. This is, if I'm not mistaken, the first of the two sequels, both chronologically and in terms of the series, like storyline, timeline, and the order they were released in as well. So I'm going to do this one first. I'll probably do the Super Nintendo Sparkster eventually. We got the little demo there. But yeah, Sparkster TM. Let's have a go of it. First off, we're going to just go up and adjust our difficulty a little bit. I'm going to be playing on hard mode here. The game's, yeah, got a few different difficulty settings. You go from easy all the way up to very hard. Not a big fan of very hard. There are some things that I kind of like about it, but there's one very big thing that I don't like that I'll get into later, so we're going to be playing on hard mode. Players continues, that's fine. Ideally, we won't have to be using any continues, but yeah, that's what we've got getting into it, so let's get right into it. We're actually not going to get right into it. We're going to sit through this little intro sequence here, which is kind of weird the way this works here. So the way that this game has a system kind of similar to the Game Gear and Master System Sonic the Hedgehog games, where you've got these 7 magic swords, one hidden in each level, that you've got to find in order to get the good ending and all that. And weirdly enough, the first magic sword is actually this one right here. You need to sit through the entire intro sequence in order to get it. You can hit a button to skip all this, but then you won't get your magic sword and you'll be locked out of the best ending, which is really strange. And of course it's an interactive opening. I'm actually fighting Axel Gear in a giant robot, not like 2 minutes into the series. What an intro. But, oh, that was a weird... Anyways, I'm playing this all wrong here. Yeah, fastest way to beat this guy is actually, at least as far as I've found, is to, yeah, get in and dodge him. Although there's also a slower, safer way, which he is not cooperating with me on right now. He's got another attack where, yeah, when he gets long range like that, he'll shoot that little bomb at you, and you can just block it, and he's got such a recovery time after that, you can just run up and punch him right after that. So that's, yeah, pretty much the safest way to beat this guy. This is a pretty brain-dead fight, however you decide to do it. I don't think I've ever lost this fight, like ever in the history of me playing this game, and that's actually a long history. This is a game that I actually kind of grew up with. I didn't own it back in the day, but it was one of those frequent rentals for me back in the Sega Genesis days. So I think you can actually even skip that fight, even after the fight starts there, the giant robot fight. I think you can press start to skip it right there as well. But yeah, like I said, we're going for the magic sword, so we didn't skip it. We pull out the sword, and hey, Sparkster Rocket Knight Adventures 2. Yeah, weirdly enough, and that's the other thing, is this is the one game in the series to actually sport the Rocket Knight Adventures name on the... It's not really the title screen, I guess the intro splash screen. Anyways, the full name of the game in the Japanese version, from what I understand, is actually Sparkster Rocket Knight Adventures 2. So this is the second game in the series, technically. And yeah, it's a little bit like the first game. We got this little pantomime here, sort of an intro cutscene to set up the story. Yeah, they kidnapped the princess again, and we've got to go rescue her. I don't really know what the relation is between like the story of this game and the first game. Is that like the same princess, or is like the blue princess in the blue dress is the princess from the first game, or are we like in a different kingdom entirely or something? And again, I think all of that was actually explained in the manual for this game in like some kind of detailed story section. Don't really give a damn about all that though. We're just going to play the game, and it's a fun little game. I actually do enjoy this game quite a bit. I liked it a lot back in the day as well. It's just yeah, perennial favorite, you might say. It's not exactly a favorite. It's not the best game in the world, but it's pretty cool. There's a lot of things that I really like about it. First thing, you can see that there's a lot here. There's a lot to talk about right up front here. There's a whole bunch of stuff got changed from the original game. First and most obviously, you've got this rocket meter up at the top of the screen. And of course you had that in the first game, but in this game it charges up on its own. In Rocket Knight Adventures, you had to hold down the attack button in order to charge that thing, which meant there was a bit of a delay. It required a little bit of pre-planning, a little bit of forethought whenever you wanted to use the rocket attack. In this game, the thing charges up so fast you can pretty much just rip it out anytime you want, and it's just ridiculous. Like if you got we got kind of low overhead clearance right now during this sequence right here, but like, yeah, if you play it right, like, look, I can just literally, I don't even have to deal with this stage at all. I can just, okay, we got a wall there, so I got to deal with that. But you can just kind of just fly. You get, yeah, the charge time on this rocket attack this time around is so fast, you can literally just fly. In addition to that, the rocket attack works a bit differently than in the original game. There's 2 levels to it. Yeah, you got your level 1 where you just kind of, it's a little slower, a little bit less range, a little bit less powerful as well. You can see I got the full. If you let it fully charge up, you get this corkscrew attack, which does a little bit more damage, goes a lot farther, faster, etc. You know, it's level 2. It's better in all those exciting ways, but takes a little bit longer to charge up. You can see level 2 charges a lot slower than your level 1. So yeah, it's a really cool change. Actually, I actually love just the basic control system in this game, the ability to just let loose with that rocket attack anytime you want, and just like literally just fly over absolutely everything is just great. And of course it's not that simple. You can't, this is just the first stage. It's like, you know, as first stages tends to go in these kinds of games, really wide open, not much that's a great threat to you, so you can just kind of fly overhead and not worry about things. In this first stage here, at least, things will of course get a little bit tougher as we go along. But yeah, they changed the way that gems work in this game too. I think in the first game, I don't think they were good for anything. They were just points, and I don't even think they gave you 1-ups if you got like 100 of them or anything. It was just points straight up. Move on to the second part of stage 1. But yeah, you can see in this game we got this roulette wheel that you get to play slot machine basically anytime that you collect. If you collect a red gem, or every time you collect 10 blue gems, you get to play. Yeah, get to play the roulette wheel there, which drops various things on your head, mostly bombs, as you can see, and that's because I'm playing on the hard difficulty. You're kind of the quality of items that you get, or the average quality of items you get, and actually, yeah, that hidden wall there that we went through leads to our first magic sword, as in addition to that big collection of red gems there. But yeah, basically the harder the difficulty setting, the worse items you tend to get off the roulette wheel on average, to the point where, and that's the thing I really hate about very hard mode in this game, is on very hard you get bombs dropped on you pretty much 100% of the time on the stupid slot machine. Which basically means that gems are a liability. You want to avoid them at all costs. Or not at all costs, but in general you want to avoid them when playing on very hard. Which is just kind of stupid to me. It's like, what, you put all these gems in front of me and I'm like not even supposed to collect them because they're just going to drop stupid bombs on my head? That just, in principle, that just kind of annoys me. So, whoops, I got caught here. Don't worry, it's not going to kill me. I'll be fine. Okay, and I think if I go off screen here... Yeah, there we go. That's the one that we want. But yeah, basically I think you guys get the idea of the game right now. You're just doing your regular, you know, 2D platformer, 16-bit thing. Run around, rocketing things, jumping at things, attacking things. Oh yeah, the attack is different from Rocket Knight Adventures as well. Instead of your sort of really fast sword beam, you've got just a melee attack, which is kind of interesting. It comes out a lot slower than the attack in the first game. It's obviously got less range since you don't have that projectile anymore. Oh, I got a bad setup here. It's gonna take me a long time to get the... Or is it? No, I think we're actually good here. No, yeah, this is lined up poorly. So yeah, this is actually one of my least favorite parts of the game, just because it's... I don't know if it's a specific sequence you've got to hit or what, but I almost always end up doing this, where it's like the very last screw that you've got to get out of this tower. Just takes forever, just because they don't line up right. It's like those last two are on the same kind of cycle. I'm not going to get it this time either. So we just kind of sit here and wait. And I guess I can continue blabbing about the sword attack while I do that. So yeah, the cool thing about the sword attack in this game, though, is that it has a little bit more coverage. The hitbox is a lot bigger than your attack in Rocket Knight Adventures. Especially the jump attack is like really useful. It actually kind of reminds me of the. I really like the music in this part of the stage as well. Actually, honestly, I don't like it as much as the music in the first part of the stage, but still, this is one of the better tunes in the game. And actually, kind of similar to a lot of other Konami games. Like I said, there's a Super Nintendo Sparkster game, and it shares a lot of the same assets with this Genesis version of the game. I say version of the game, they're actually completely different games entirely. But yeah, one thing, they kind of share certain assets. It's like Sparkster Sprite is actually that's not true. Sparkster Sprite is a fair bit different in the Super Nintendo game, but the music is generally the same in the Super Nintendo version. The compositions are the same, at least, except they're rendered in using the Super Nintendo sound chip. We got our first mid-boss right here. But yeah, in general, I actually prefer the music in the Super Nintendo version. I usually prefer just the Genesis sound chip in general. I just love that Genesis sound that you get in a lot of the music in these old Genesis games. In fact, I would say that I know a lot of people think differently, but I generally prefer Genesis chiptunes over Super Nintendo ones. But that's not the case for the Sparkster games. Actually, I do prefer the way the music, the compositions sound in the Super Nintendo version of this game. Though with that said, the best tunes in the game, I think, tend to be the ones where that don't appear in the Super Nintendo version. This mid-boss theme is example of that. Oh yeah, actually, so the slot machine isn't the only thing that changes between the different difficulty levels of the game. Actually, if you play this on very hard, that guy's sort of grabbing and reaching attack actually extends all the way to the other side of the screen, so you aren't entirely safe just hanging out on the left like I was there. So it's actually kind of interesting. The main thing that changes between the different difficulty levels, I don't even think that damage changes at all either. It's mainly just that just the slot machine and some of the bosses are a little bit faster and more aggressive, and that's basically it. The game actually isn't a whole lot more difficult on the different difficulty settings. Although, with that said, there's actually a couple big the other big difference with the difficulty settings is on the easy mode in particular, it'll skip certain parts of the game. I know a lot of Konami games did that back in this era, where if you play on easy, you get kind of a little sort of an abridged version of the game that cuts out a lot of parts of the different levels. And in fact, this forest section right here is completely cut from the easy mode of the game. You don't get to see any of this unless you're playing on normal or harder. And I think the true final boss only appears on hard as well, though I could be wrong about that. Oops. Got a little chase sequence here. We're gonna get to our revenge on that fat bastard in a minute, though, don't worry. This is actually an interesting, and we got another mid-boss already. Interesting little fight right here. It's basically a little trampoline duel. Kind of in a similar spirit to the first Rocket Knight game, which I guess you would expect, them being in the same series and all. Just a constant variety seems to be the theme in this game. It's like first you're fighting a tree face dude, then you're like you got like these raining gumdrops on you in the first section of the level, then you fight the tree face dude, then you got like the minecart goblins, and then now you got this ball chasing you down these narrow corridors, and then you got the trampoline man, and now we're on an auto-scrolling section in a truck. So it's just constantly changing things up in a very similar vein to the original Rocket Knight Adventures, which is, as I always say, a thing that I love in these kinds of games is just the constant variety, constantly changing things up, showing you different things, keeping things interesting for you. Though I've got to say that as much variety as there is in this game, it seems to me like there's a little less variety than there was in the first game. Just it's like the set pieces add a lot of variety, but it's like it doesn't really change the fundamental gameplay. You're mostly just, doing normal Sparkster things throughout the course of the game. It's like kind of built around the same game system, everything. You don't have like these wild variations where Rocket Knight Adventures, you had like swimming sections and the tail hanging sections. Like you have some of the tail hanging stuff in this game, but it's just not quite as varied from a gameplay perspective. though still incredibly varied from like a visual and level design perspective. Though I've got to say, I could do without this kind of variety. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the basic controls of the game, because like I said... Okay, yeah, let's talk even longer, because I fucked that up. Anyways, I actually got... The reason I was all reckless like that is because I believe I got an extra life out of that, or maybe... No, the extra life was on the other side of that, so I just killed myself for nothing. That's great. But, yeah, I really, really do love the changes they made to the basic control scheme in this game. The auto-charging rocket attack is just superb. It's one of my favorite... just control schemes in 2D platformer history. Just the ability to just like rocket all over the place and just tear it up. Basically, it's just like, oh, enemy right here, rocket attack. And also, you got your spin attack as well, which was in the first game too. But like I said, you had to charge it up, which made it a lot more useful. Whereas in this game, it's like really good. You can like if an enemy's coming at you, and like I said, your regular sword attack is a little bit slow compared to what you might be used to from Rocket Knight Adventures. So it can be really useful to just be able to, like, yeah, whip out a spin attack when there's enemies running at you. It's actually a really useful move it's a lot of fun to use too. And also, because it's so easy to whip it out, you can also just make and pretend like you're Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah, you can see there I missed the 1-up out of that box, so yeah. Complete waste of me dying there. I didn't even get it on my second time. Oop, avoid the bomb there. And we're coming up on the first boss. And so yeah, unlike the first game, because yeah, if you check out my LP of the original Rocket Knight Adventures, I talked a little bit about how the rocket attack was a little bit of an underutilized mechanic. It was often more of a liability than anything, because if you just try to use it all the time and whip it out at every opportunity, it was just a lot more difficult control. And also, yeah, that was another thing in the original game. After you did a rocket attack in Rocket Knight Adventures, you'd lose control over your character until you landed. So it was yeah, a lot less useful, a lot less easy to control. Whereas in this game, as you can see, you've got complete control even after you come out of the rocket attack. You can literally just fly around if you've got enough overhead clearance. And indeed, mastery of the rocket attack is what this first boss fight is all about. They don't really expect you to jump over that arm when it goes crazy like that after you hit it. You got to be flying up above, dodging these white balls that he throws at you. So it's like right off the bat, you can tell that this game is all about the rocket attack. It's a central core mechanic. Game's all about mastering the use of it and getting as much use and making the best use of it as you can. And that's going to be what we're going to try to do going forward. But and yeah, we'll see if that ends up happening. That's it for the first stage. I'll see you again in the next episode.